welcome to the 9th Policy Answers webinar. Today we're having two speakers, Ariane Blum from the French National Research Agency, and we have Natalia Bolokan from the National Agency of Research and Development of the Republic of Moldova. I'm Janine Halder from the Austrian Research Promotion Agency, and on our agenda today we have a very short welcome. We hear then about the Water4All partnerships and the opportunities of the Western Balkans. And after the presentations, we would like you to stay for a common dialogue and discussions. Before we start with the webinar of today, this is the first webinar of 2025, but we had already now almost 1 year long regular webinars. And I just want to highlight that these webinars are all uploaded and available. So the presentations and also the videos you can find on our YouTube channel. We also encourage you that to find out more about the Policy Answer project. If this is you're here for the first time, this is new to you, we have an email address where we encourage you to get in contact with us. We have the Western Balkan Info Hub website, and we have also the Policy Dialogue stakeholder platform, where you can register and receive information, and where we have also the webinar videos and PowerPoint presentations. I will copy the links afterwards into the chat, so you will have the links. So for today, we will have a short presentation about the Water4All EU Partnership. So Ariane will present the partnership itself, the main objectives and achievements. But we will then have also a peer from Moldova presenting, why is it worth joining this partnership? What is Moldova doing in this partnership? How long have they been involved? What do they gain? And we hope that we can have a discussion then afterwards directed to the two speakers. So I think Ariane is going first. So I would give the stage to Ariane, and I would ask you to share your screen.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Janine. Can you see my screen? And can you hear me correctly? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, good, great. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you once again for your invitation and for giving us the opportunity to talk about Water4All. So my name is Ariane Blum, and I'm pleased to be the coordinator of this European partnership. But maybe before talking about Water4All and the opportunities of Water4All, I would like to come back on what a challenge we have to face for Europe and for the Balkans especially, and to just explain the context of Water4All and the motivation behind this important program for Horizon Europe. As you know, water is essential for life, for ecosystem, and for human activities. And we have to face more and more challenge worldwide, and especially at the European level. Just to share some figures that are recently published by the European Environment Agency. Unfortunately, according to the Water Framework Directive that was published in 2000, unfortunately, more than 20 years after the publication of this directive, we still have 37% of our surface water that are in good status only. And we only have 91% of groundwater that are in good quantitative status. And regarding the chemical status of water, it's only 29% of our surface water that are in good chemical status, which is very low, and 77% for groundwater. So just to say that we have done a lot to implement measures to protect our water, but unfortunately this is not enough. And as you know, we also have to face climate change effects, and we all remember that we had to face a severe drought event in 2022. And in 2022, nearly 50% of the European territory was impacted by this severe drought. And unfortunately, the year after also, many countries were affected by drought. And on the contrary, we have to face floods, more and more floods, and you also know about this. And if you refer to the EEA report, we are not prepared to rapidly growing climate risks, including water. So you know this challenge, but I think it's important to remind this. And focusing on the water challenges in the Balkans, of course, you know better than I do that water challenges are also very important, and that you have to face and you have to consider the same issues: drought, floods, access to water for human uses, pollution from urban areas, from agriculture, saline intrusion in coastal rivers and aquifers. Important issue also for water monitoring and data, and for the protection of aquatic ecosystem related to water, and governance is also an issue. So once again, a lot of things have been done, but it's not sufficient. And this is why under the Horizon Europe program, it was decided to really give a fresh boost to European research with the Water4All Partnership, and to also consider that we need to cooperate between different countries to face this challenge. So Water4All has been designed in this context, and this is what we call a co-funded partnerships under Horizon Europe. We started our activities in June 2022, and we will continue until May 2031. This is a partnership gathering 90 partners, research ministry and funding agencies like I am, to have a kind of common pot to support transnational research projects. But not only, the novelty with these partnerships under Horizon Europe is that we also welcome research organizations, local authorities, European networks, and regional and national networks representing the economic sector, to really make sure that the results of the projects we are going to fund will be transferred to the different end users, and also to make sure that our priorities will be in line with their needs. I'm pleased also to say that we welcome 33 countries in Europe, and not only, because once again, the water challenge needs to be considered and faced with also non-EU countries. And as you can see on this map, we have Brazil, South Africa, Turkey, recently Georgia, also Tunisia. And there is a big gap, as you can see, in Europe. Unfortunately, we still have missing European countries: Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, and Albania, and Kosovo. And this is why I'm very happy to have this discussion today with you, because this is really a priority to be able to welcome you and to maybe offer some opportunities for you in terms of collaborations with your countries, and to support collaborations between our research teams. Yeah, so maybe to explain what we are going to do. The first thing is that, like in every Horizon Europe research program, we have what we call a strategic and research innovation agenda, a 3R, to identify thematic priorities for our research and for our activities. This 3R was published in 2022 after a large consultation of researchers, policymakers, citizens, and we have identified 7 priorities: water for circular economy, water for ecosystems and biodiversity, sustainable water management, water and health, water infrastructure, and international cooperation and governance. This document will be revised at the end of 2025, and I do encourage you to contribute to the update of this document, because we do need also to consider all the needs of all European countries, and I know that there are some expectations from ESOT countries to better include your priorities. This document is really the backbone to identify the topics for our research, our transnational calls, but also for our own activities, but I'll come back on this just after. So in a nutshell, what are we doing? We have 2 kinds of activities. The first one is the development of 6 annual joint transnational calls. This is something you may be used to under the Horizon Europe program, or it was the same in Horizon 2020. The first call was on the management of water resources under hydroclimatic extreme event, and it led us to fund 27 projects for a 27 million euros budget. If you want to know more about the funded projects, there is a booklet on our website presenting each project. The second call was on aquatic ecosystem services, and we are going to launch this year 23 projects for a budget of 23 million euros. The third call is ongoing. The first step is closed, and we received 148 proposals in step 1, and we will publish the results in September next year. The fourth call will be on water and health, and it will be published in September. I will come back on it later because there is still an opportunity to join this call for the future, but I'll come back on this later. What is new with such a program, such a partnership, is that we also have our own work program, what we call additional activities. So once again, to make sure that our projects will be in line with the research needs and the policy gaps, we have the development of this strategic agenda. We have activities to support international cooperation, to develop databases, to support SMEs. And I'm going to explain you just after and to give you some example of these additional activities. So there is room to either support the joint calls, either contribute to the additional activities. But I'm going to explain and to give some example maybe just after. Just one thing to say that the topics 5 and 6 are not selected yet. So these new calls will be published in 26 and 27. So there is room for new countries joining us to contribute to an internal consultation to identify the topics for the upcoming calls. If I go back to the calls to give you more information, the main modalities for these calls are to support 3 years project, gathering a minimum of 3 eligible partners from the participating countries, and a minimum of 2 independent legal entities from 2 different member states. There is a maximum expected of 7 partners, and companies are also highly invited to join the consortium depending on your national rules. So as you can imagine, each funding agency, ministry plan a budget and to welcome some calls and proposals to these national calls. As I have said before, the next call to be published in September will be on water and health. Currently we have a working group to focus on what will be the priority topics for this call, because it's a very wide topics. But you here have an extract from our 3R. So it might be the behavior of contaminants, of emerging concerns, plastics, disruptors. It might be in link with AMR also, or innovative water tools and technology for water quality, or risk assessment for the protection of human health and ecosystems. So we still need to discuss this, but there is room for some countries to join us for this call and for the one after. I'll come back on this later on. All our activities are organized in pillars. I won't go too much into details, but this scheme will be available in my presentation. I would like to give you some example of the additional activities I've mentioned before. For instance, a part of these additional activities is dedicated to the science policy and user interface. So the first thing is that we want the research projects we are going to fund to be in line with the policy needs. At the European level, we have identified a priority to support the implementation of the Water Framework Directive, Drinking Water Directive, and the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive. So there is a policy support group to really make sure that the needs will be considered in our calls and that the projects will be transferred. We also have an activity to support the transfer to the economic sector with the support to the creation of startups and the development of a European incubator. and with the development of trainings also for SMEs. We have 10 clusters contributing to Water4All. Another part of this pillar is dedicated to capacity development, and I can give as an example the creation of a European MBA for PhD students to really train PhD students to communication, to the transfer to market of solutions they could develop, and to support them to create a European network and to organize exchange between different countries. We also have activities to engage Generation Z, and concretely, we have a call and we organize a one-week tour in the Netherlands, in the Czech Republic, and in Portugal to welcome young people and to convince them to get in touch into water challenge and and innovation in the field of water. Another activity is dedicated to the development of open science, open data toolbox to deliver our results and to make connections with existing European database. Another pillar in these additional activities is dedicated to what we call a network of water-oriented living labs. Living labs are ecosystems where we put together local authorities, researchers, and companies, and to organize a discussion and to make sure that the innovation we are going to develop are in line with the policy needs, with local authorities' needs, and to create this dialogue. There are different initiatives like this across Europe. So we have developed a network of existing water-oriented living labs. It's led by Water Europe, and there is an atlas of water-oriented living labs available on our website. And the step after is to create connections between the different living labs, because maybe one innovation developed, I don't know, in Lisbon could be interesting in Poland or in another country. So it's a way to create a network and to share some ideas and solutions for water management. Some example about our international activities. We also pay attention, like I've said before, to international cooperation, because we can't stay only in Europe to develop solutions, innovations to face water challenge, and we need to organize a cooperation with non-EU countries. This is why we have developed an international strategy to identify priorities. And we, as an example, we contribute to major international conferences, like it was the case this year in Bali. We attended the World Water Forum. I think it was very important to create new contact networks and to valorize what we are doing at the European level. We have just signed also a memorandum of understanding with the UNESCO, and the UNESCO has a strong hydrological program, and it's a very good opportunity for us to disseminate the solutions we are going to fund in non-EU countries, to create contact with non-EU countries and where there are strong needs of capacity buildings, and there are also very good experience in non-EU countries that we could use in Europe. Of course, it's a dialogue. As an example also, we give a support to SMEs to showcase their solutions and to learn from the others. It's very mutual across Europe also. Yeah. I would like also to mention that Water4All is a partnerships, and there are many other initiatives at the European level you may know. You may know about the Blue Economy Partnerships, Biodiversa Plus or DUT. So just to say that we are in contact, in strong collaborations with the other partnerships to make sure that we don't have the same topics for the development of the joint goals, but also to create synergy between our communities, because we are here to support scientific communities, but there are links to make with biodiversity. And I would like to point out the link with the BioEast initiative, where I know that there is a development of 3R for Eastern countries, including water management issues and also issues for food and agronomy. Okay, so it was just a short summary of what we are doing. Collaboration of opportunities. If you are a funding agency of a ministry, and if you want to join us, there is room to join us and to contribute to the joint transnational calls from 2025 and for the years after. It would allow you to support collaborations between research teams in your country and other teams in the participating countries. And of course, you will have a testimony from Moldavia just after. If you are a research organization, a network, a cluster, or local authorities, you could also join Water4All and contribute to these additional activities like the development of the strategic agenda, international cooperation, the development of the living labs. And so you can also join the partnerships and have active contribution in this field. As a research organization, naturally, you can also apply to the joint transnational calls if your country is a member of Water4All. Become a member of Water4All, we have what we call an observing partner board. And for those who would be interested in joining us, there is a first step to join this observing partner board, which is a kind of board where you can start contributing to Water4All and joining the team to know more about it. What I would like to say, maybe in a simple way, more than what is written here, is that I have said that Water4All started in 2022. Our budget from the Commission is allocated in 3 phases. We have an EC contribution of 30% of the estimated eligible cost of all partners. We signed a first grant agreement in 2022 with the European Commission. Last year, we signed an amendment to this grant agreement to welcome new countries and to develop a new part of our work program covering the joint calls 3 and 4 and some additional activities. And this year, there will be a new opportunity to receive funds because under the Horizon Europe Work Program 2025, there will be a call for Water4All. And we will receive the fund from the European Commission to cover the calls 5 and 6 and some additional activities between 2026 and 2031. What I mean is that there will be room this year to welcome new countries. And if you want to join us, there will be room to receive an EC contribution. So this is the right time for us to welcome new countries and to offer the possibility to receive this EC contribution to contribute to the calls or to the additional activities. I would like also to mention that, like in every Horizon Europe programs, there is a possibility to have a synergy of funds with other European funds, especially the regional funds. So it might be interesting to, for some activities, to put together regional funds and to apply for the Horizon Europe funds. And very quickly, this is what I wanted to say. Of course, thank you for your attention, and we have time today to answer your questions. And this is really the objective of today's session to answer to questions. Thank you. And I leave. Maybe I can stop here.
Thank you very much, Ariane.
I leave Natalia give some more information.
Exactly. I would propose we continue with the presentation of Natalia, and we have then a common discussion.
Give me 1 second. This is my presentation now.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And you
yes, the starting page is yeah.
Okay. It's just because I will not see all of you now. I'm looking at just the presentation, but then we can discuss later. So I'm very glad that I'm part of this webinar, and I'm really excited to tell you a bit more about the organization that I represent. The country is Moldova. The organization is the National Agency of Research and Development. It's the national funding organization. We fund research and innovation through grants. And I know that the information that Ariane presented, thank you very much for this comprehensive presentation. It can be overwhelming for people who hear it for the first time, even for those who know the program. It can be sometimes overwhelming. But don't worry, you're in good hands, and everyone is eager to answer all your questions and all your doubts. So, of course, Ariane already discussed the water-related challenges, so I will not talk too much about it. Water scarcity, pollution, the impacts of climate change. These are important issues that we have to try and enhance the current situation. And here we have the Water4All Partnership gives us the opportunity to address these issues. And by joining this program, we can leverage the expertise of leading European institutions, we can access valuable funding opportunities, and enhance the capacity of local water professionals. So, did it change or not?
We're now on the slide where you presented what you just showed and what you discussed, the three blue boxes.
Yeah, it's not changing, unfortunately. I think my computer just froze. Maybe you could share from your screen.
Yeah, if not, our backup was Ariane, but Ariane is sharing your presentation.
I can do it. Yeah.
Okay, then you have to just stop the sharing and we give.
Can you stop it? Yeah, I think I stopped it now, right?
Is it the one you wanted to comment? So, yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, and I'm really sorry my computer just froze. So, but at least I unshared it. Yeah. So, just like Ariane said, we have to increase social well-being by improved water security, and of course, sustainable water management is crucial for long-term economic and environmental health. Economic growth is stimulated through development of a vibrant water sector, and of course, environmental protection is a key priority. Improved public health is a direct outcome of improved water quality and sanitation. So these are all things that we already know, and there's no point in discussing them. Can you please go to the next slide? Because there are things that I would like to focus on more. Yeah. So I'm not sure if we have here people from funding agencies or just from a research institution, but still I'd like to mention that for the funding agency itself, it's very beneficial to be in this partnership because we have enhanced collaboration by connecting regional stakeholders with leading European institutions, research centers, NGOs, and SMEs also, of course. So we have access to this crucial funding, and we also have the possibility to enhance capacity building within the region by enhancing the skills and expertise of local people. And of course, probably I should have started with this one. We have the possibility to actively influence regional water policy, right, by contributing to the development of effective water policies and advocating for sustainable water practices. So next, please. And then I'd like to share very briefly this project that we have in Moldova. We have only one project. Can you imagine? It was in 2022, and I know from being at the meetings at of the partnership, I know there are countries that have so many projects that a lot more projects that they can finance, right? And we actually budget this money every year, but we only have one project that won yeah, 2 years ago. So this is also important for us to understand that even when we have the money, right, and we participate in the partnership, it's not enough to win. And this is important to understand that this collaboration with these institutions in the consortium is very beneficial for the researchers themselves because they gain this experience of writing a winning project. So we only have this project. It's the Technical University of Moldova, and this is the project director. Can you please share the next one? I'll just briefly state it's here you can see the consortium. It's Romania, Israel, Italy, us, Moldova, and Turkey. And it's the next one, please. The duration is 3 years. Romania is coordinating, and it's the aim of the project consists in the development of a novel and low-cost multifunctional material based on metal oxide biochar. So then you have the objectives. If any of you is interested, it's like also a marketing, a bit of marketing. If any of you is interested in this particular subject, then of course you can contact them. Next slide, please. Yeah, so here you see the consortium, National Institute for Research and Development of Isotopic and Molecular Technologies. Yeah, actually we already talked about that. The countries, Turkey, Israel, Moldova, Romania, and we have an SME from Italy. Next one, please. Yeah, so these are the things that we somehow understand them in the back of our minds. I just wanted really to put them to really focus on them, so that you can later think about it. All the benefits that the funding organization gets, the funding organizations in smaller countries, right, with less experience, and I'm not afraid to say that, it's nothing that to be ashamed of, it's the way it is, and it's very important for us to move forward. So we get, by collaborating with this European organizations, we get increased impact for research, for other stakeholders, for the funding organization itself. We get enhanced coordination. We get a lot of knowledge. We get our skills enhanced in funding strategies, right? We learn how to maximize the effectiveness of research and innovation investments. It's very important. We get access to expertise. We have improved policy influence. And of course, we have increased visibility. It's regarding the visibility of the institutions themselves, their reputation, and of course, from the scientific point of view, you also get to publish, right, in various journals. And of course, we have strengthened international cooperation that can lead to other national and international projects. And I think that's the last slide, right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I tried to be very brief. but I think I touched upon the main points. Of course, there are some other like know-hows that a funding organization has to think. It's regarding the national eligibility rules. And also it's about the total amount of money that you are ready to put in for the call. For example, in our case, we had to limit the salaries because otherwise people would put everything for the salary, like they did during the first year, and they didn't have a budget for traveling. So like networking like is one of the points also, but it was very, very difficult. So they didn't have, they didn't foresee a budget for traveling. They took everything for salaries. Now this year we already put a limit, like 60 or 70% for salaries, and we also sometimes we limit like travel budgets to a certain extent, like 20%. So we have to keep, you know, to keep it somehow in the reasonable limits because, yeah, it's important. So that's basically all I wanted to share with you. And of course, if you have any questions, we will answer everything.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ariane, and also Natalia for giving us also this insights. Yeah, so we have about 20 minutes for discussions. So yeah, we could do by raising hands, and I don't know if there's already a question. You can also write it in the chat if you don't want to speak it out. If not, I can maybe start. Maybe to Ariane, you mentioned in your presentation the option of being an observing partner in the partnership. Maybe this is something you could just explain again to our participants. What does it mean to be an observing partner? What could be an advantage of this? Or
yeah, thank you. Indeed, if someone wants to, in a simple way, join the consortium without joining a process where you have to sign the grant agreement with the Commission and so on, you can just send us a letter of intention and join some activities and start contributing to the additional activities on your own budget. So this is an easy way to be in the Water4All family, I would say. And then in a second process, you can become a full partner by contributing to the proposal and to a new phase of Water4All with and to sign the grant agreement with a budget and some activities, either the joint calls, either the additional activities. So, for instance, we have received this week a letter of intention from the research organization of India, because we have an ongoing dialogue with India, and they are going to receive the letter of intention, and we are going to submit it to the governing board, and they are going to join some activities, and then it makes the links easier, and then we hope that they can become a full partner.
thank you very much. Other questions now? I don't know if there are hands raised and I don't see them.
I see that an interest from Bosnia is a good, yeah, that's good news, because it's really an opportunity for you to collaborate with other universities and teams from other countries. What we just need also, so we can discuss again after. If you want to contact me, don't hesitate. What is important also is to engage your Ministry of Research or your agency of research or the Ministry of Environment or Water, depending on your national organization. And we are fully available at the coordination team to organize bilateral meetings to better explain how to join and to identify common interest. So yeah.
And you mentioned also that you could get in touch, like through this, that the start. It's getting there's a revision of the SRIA at the end of 2025.
Yep.
And you mentioned that there's also possibilities to contribute. How would this work? How, if someone hears this now, to whom in the country maybe this has to be delegated, if we have a researcher or?
Yeah. Well, there was a public consultation last year, and we reopened the public consultation early this year. So there is a link in my presentation. So I think it's still time to contribute to this questionnaire, and where we ask people to identify if the Water4All themes are sufficient, or if we have missing themes. And there will be expert groups in April, but the process has started. But anyway, we can also have bilateral meetings, and that's why we have this dialogue with the BioEast initiative, which has a network, and especially they've got a water, they've got a working group on water issues, and where they gather different countries. So I think the best also is to contribute to BioEast, and we will try to integrate the analysis of water challenge.
Yeah, I could just mention at this point that we also had a webinar in the past on BioEast. So this is something you can also look up in our past webinars, and then you can really well connect to the topic.
I would have a question to Natalia, if I may. I was wondering how the process went at the very beginning when you decided to get engaged with Water4All and other partnerships. In how far did you make the decision that, okay, for Water4All, we're going to reserve budget, and for some other initiatives?
Thank you for the question. So first of all, I wasn't here at the agency 2 years ago or 3 years ago when the partnerships were signed. But now I'm for over a year, I'm head of the department that handles now. The agency itself is pretty young, so it's we only there are only 6 years since the agency has been funded. Of course, it seems difficult at the beginning when you see when you open the documents, you see all the great pillars, all the letters in the alphabet, all the numbers, all the tasks. It seems overwhelming at the beginning. What I understood is that in no case should you be frightened or scared. It's a huge partnership. It's supposed to be complicated at some level, but then everyone has its task, his or her task, right? And there are coordinators. Also, there are people that you can always email and ask. Now, regarding the financial part, so we get the money from the Ministry of Education and Research, and that's my colleague is thinking of me. So that's basically we really had to we only get what they give us, and then we have to make sure that the amount is more or less reasonable for Moldova. Of course, when I see the numbers that France allocates, you can faint. But we only have we had €100 per project the first year, and now we expect to fund 2 projects by €100. So it's already better. The problem is that we reserve the money, but our projects don't win yet. That was the only one that was a winner. So our researchers by law, by governmental decision, they cannot get like huge European salaries, even if the money comes from the European Union. They still get, you know, the PM rate from their institution. So for us, I can say that the budget, we just use our reasonable national budget. Yeah. Of course, they have to adapt the activities to the budget, because other institutions that give more, they can do more. But then we have what we have, and I'm very grateful that we have this opportunity, because it's important, even if even considering the fact that we didn't finance anything, like, for example, last previous joint transnational call, we still have a lot of exchange with partners, and that is also very valuable. So for the researchers themselves, I would probably advise to learn what countries have very good writing skills and very good projects, and then probably address those partners, right? I know it's maybe not very ethical to advise something like this, but I mean, we have to do something, because I understand that in our smaller countries we don't have the capacity, and we have to learn, and you have to learn from the best, so you can also, you know, go higher and higher. I hope this answers your question.
I would only have one follow-up question. When you mentioned the amount, I heard 100 euro, but what is it? 100,000 euro? Yes. Okay.
100,000 yes per project. So we were able only to finance one, and now we want to finance two with 100,000 each.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Other questions? Maybe also, if not, also I have one more question also for Natalia, because yeah, very often it's the researchers and of course or startups being very motivated, but it needs then the national funding agency, yeah, to be convinced, or the ministries. How do you have any recommendations? We have researchers here participating. There's a university that is already motivated. How do you see that researchers can cross this bridge to the ministries or the funding agency to really highlight the importance of such a partnership for the research and innovation in the country?
Yeah, so thanks. Actually, this your question reminded me. You mentioned startups, and you reminded me about something else that I forgot to mention. Is that up until now, only public institutions could apply for this project. If a private institution, like an SME or a startup, wanted to apply, they had to make a partnership with their research with a university. And this year, we the ministry. Also, we as an agency, we tried to convince, and we did it. We convinced the ministry, and they also added the possibility for private organizations to participate in our calls and calls that we finance. So I think that I'm not sure if researchers can go to the ministry and try to convince, at least not in our country, but I think here the funding organization should do it, and of course they have to see the gains and the benefits that they get. Probably a bit selfish, but first for themselves, right? because from this partnership you can go further in other European partnerships. And if the funding organization really can see that, then you don't have to convince them, really. You don't have to convince them, because if they want to develop as an organization, they probably already are looking towards the European Union, right? So I think that here maybe knowledge is essential. So they just have to know more about this, about the partnership, the benefits, not to be afraid to join, and be sure that they will get support. And of course, they probably they could get scared by the amount, that they have to promise. But again, everything is negotiable. So it's not like you have to, plan a huge amount. It's what you have, but it has to be reasonable, So it's probably, again, I'm not sure that the researchers should do that in other countries. It depends more on the funding agency, I think. Yeah, that's my opinion. But of course,
Yeah.
men can turn mountains if you want.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Are there additional questions? Maybe if not, another question from my side. How many resources is this taking your agency? Because many like funding agencies also in the Western Balkans, they're relatively small. It's just a few people sometimes. If just like you say, it's like really just having this one or two projects with a relatively small budget in one partnership. But you say then you have, yeah, of course, administrative paths in such a partnership are sometimes complicated, and you, especially if you're new, you need to understand a certain thing. Do you have an estimation what it needs from the funding agency to make, because if you make such a commitment?
Of course, it depends on your activities, on your specific involvement in the activities. We are 3 people working involved in the project, and of course, it's a commitment. It's a commitment. It depends whether you're involved in different tasks and different pillars, or just involved in pillar B that is just announces the call, manages the call, manages the project itself. So it depends. But I'm sure that Ariane and colleagues can always advise on the volume on the workloads, on the money, because we have it's so that happened that we have a new director that came 1 year ago, and I was appointed head of this department 1 year ago. So we were both new to this, and we also always got support. So we either emailed, we had an online meeting or several of them. So everyone was very open and supportive. So it's an amazing experience in terms of working, and you always have answers to your questions. It's no matter what you want to answer, you to ask, they will always help you.
Yeah. Thank you for this, Natalia. In terms of workload, it really depends on your budget, the number of projects you hope to support, but at least if you are here to support projects, there are a few meetings each year to contribute to the selection process, to have this network with other funding agencies. So it's very hard to say how much time it takes, but maybe 1 or 2 PM a year for each partnership. But as Natalia has raised at the very beginning, we are here. We can provide a kind of training about what will happen with the selection process, but because I do understand and I do know that it's really an experience, because when it's new for you, we can explain how it goes. The secretary of the calls is changing every year. So it is Germany this year. The year before it was us at ENR. And it's very important to share our experience. And I think this is one added value, I hope, of the partnerships, to share our experience in the selection process. In such a network. But I can provide more information about the workload. But I would say 1-2 p.m. a year.
Okay, so I've been instructed that we close really well in time because we have people that have to leave on time at 4 o'clock. I would like to thank both speakers a lot for having the opportunity having you here, and that you could give us those inside information of a partnership to our community. We will share the slides and also the video recording on our platform. I put now again the link in the chat, so we will try as soon as possible to upload the video and the presentations, so you can catch up, and then you will also have the contacts to Ariane. I hope that we have some follow-ups, and with this I would like to close the webinar, and I would like to thank all participations and our speakers. Thank you very much.
Don't hesitate to come back to me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.